Hello everyone, I hope you're doing really well. Today is day 3 of this sort of impromptu 5-day fast. I wanted to address a couple of things. So at least one person has mentioned his concern over my unhealthy lifestyle, which I think is sweet, but almost laughable because this is not to brag or anything, but I am the epitome of health. And I say that because I used to not be. And, you know, having people say, well, you know, you should do your research. Okay. Research is what led me to living the way that I currently do. I'm a giant nerd. I research everything in an exhaustive fashion before I undertake it. And you know, there's a concern that if people are concerned that fasting is unhealthy, then I would encourage people to do their own research and to look into the work of Dr. Joel Fuhrman and Dr. Jason Fung. The two are not necessarily identical. Dr. Fuhrman, he pushes an almost completely, if not completely, plant-based diet. He doesn't tell people to go vegan. He doesn't use that term. And he does allow for people to eat like this little tiny bit of meat in their diet, like 3% or something. So that's how he does things, and he's done a lot of research on water fasting. Then there's Dr. Jason Fung. He has also done a lot of research on water fasting, but he thinks that people should be in a low carb diet. He is fine with meat and lots of it, so they vary differently. Bottom line is that both agree that fasting is safe and it's actually very natural. We don't think that it's natural because we're so far removed from nature. I mean, look at where I'm in an office. Do you think offices existed in nature? Like, it's ridiculous. But if you think about the way that humans evolved, or you know, however you want to put it, we adapted by fasting and feasting. This is how we are very, very good at fasting and feasting. It's what we used to have to do all the time because food was not readily available 24/7. It just wasn't. So going without food for a few days is not a freaking big deal. Eating vegan is not the same thing as fasting at all whatsoever. Have you ever met any really overweight vegans? I have. My husband used to be one. I used to not be really overweight, but I used to be overweight as a vegan. So if people are gaining weight being vegan, it's the opposite of fasting, you know? It's not, being vegan is not fasting at all. Being whole food plant-based, which is more stringent than being vegan, because with vegans, you can have your like dirty vegan brownie, and those are delicious, by the way. I very, very rarely indulge, but oh, they just are so good. And I'm sorry to talk about food for those who are fasting with me, I'm sorry. But, you know, whole food plant-based, if you're going to do that 100% of the time, that wouldn't necessarily allow for like the crappy, highly processed vegan brownies that you can find in the store or whatever. So whole food plant-based that's not even fasting-ish. It's not at all. On a whole food plant-based diet, I can get in thousands of calories a day. This is really true. I've done it before. So I don't know why that concern exists, but it shouldn't. And this is the last video where I'm going to defend myself on that. I'm not interested in constantly defending myself. It's exhausting, and that's not why I created this channel. I created this channel for a community of people who are interested and curious about fasting. I happen to always let people know that I do tend to eat a whole food plant-based diet, or at the very worst, a vegan diet. And just to be clear, you know, if people think that vegans are so unhealthy, I don't know about other countries, but in the United States, vegans, they're the only population that exists with a normal BMI. On average. I'm not saying each individual person, but on average, it's the only population with a normal BMI. Not even vegetarians meet that standard. So I really don't know where the concern is. There is a lot of research on how eating whole food plant-based can reverse certain diseases, and fasting can reverse certain diseases too. So there's nothing about the way that I'm living that is unhealthy. I don't smoke. I very rarely drink. I eat mostly whole food plant-based. If not, I'm eating vegan. And I fast from time to time. I'm in the best shape of my life. And I just did a 5K without stopping for the first time ever. I was able to accomplish that. That was so cool. It felt so good to be able just to jog the whole way through, the whole 5K. It was great. I probably should have stayed off of my right foot just because it felt a little bit weird and I probably shouldn't have jogged it, but I did. And my foot's feeling not 100% better, but it's healing. I can tell it's better than it was. So as for the sternum issue that I was mentioning the other day from bench pressing, probably a little too much, I listen, and when I feel that I'm about ready to injure myself, I stop. I take a rest. I do take care of myself in almost an annoying fashion. So there is really no need for concern, and I just wanted to make that perfectly clear. So if people have questions, then of course you can feel free to ask them. But if the question is something like, well, don't you think that what you're doing is totally unhealthy? The answer is flippin' no. I mean, obviously that if I thought what I was doing is unhealthy, I wouldn't do it. What I used to do, which was eat a bunch of dairy and eggs, that was really unhealthy. What I used to do by eating a bunch of processed junk, that was not healthy. So I stopped that. What I used to do was I got hardly any sleep. I got only 3 to 4 hours every night, and that's because I was working like a crazy person, and I changed my life. I changed my lifestyle, and now I get at minimum 7 hours every single solitary night. So there's no need for anybody to judge whether I'm living a healthy lifestyle. I appreciate your concern, but now I want to put that to bed, and I want to focus on other things, which is everybody else in this community. Everybody who is curious about fasting. If you want to basically see, the reason why I have this channel is so that people can see day to day that it can be done. I post day to day, and you can see I look like a normal person. You know, I'm at the office and I can do this while I'm fasting. It is not a big deal. The thing that, to sort of add to the point that I'm trying to really listen to my body, I mentioned yesterday that I felt weaker than I normally do on a day 2. Yesterday I felt like I would on a day 4, for instance. And then this morning when I woke up, and even a few hours afterwards, I felt funky. I felt like, wow, I feel like I would on a day 6 when I was in True North. When I hit day 6 or day 7, one of the two, I was really feeling like way too exhausted, way too weak. And what they did was they changed me from water to a veggie broth fasting. And so because I had to come to the office and because I have to meet somebody in literally 20 minutes, I thought I need to be able to think, and I feel fuzzy and I feel too weak, and so I went ahead and I made a veggie broth. I want everybody to understand this. I have had my water, I've had mostly water, but I made a little bit of veggie broth for the electrolytes. I didn't use the store-bought stuff. I basically dumped a bunch of greens in a pot about this deep, and then I filled it with water, and then I chopped up an onion in quarters. I let that boil for about an hour. Then I strained everything, and then I put it in a mug, and I drank it, and within 1 hour I felt substantially better. So if you are feeling like abnormally too weak, you know, feeling a little bit weak and a little bit tired, that is totally normal. But feeling just absolutely drained and exhausted, you shouldn't feel that way. So you can always try some veggie broth for the electrolytes, and maybe that will help you. If you ever feel sick, stop your fast. Break your fast, and break your fast with something that is easily digestible. And I am not going to recommend raw meat for that. I am going to recommend that you eat fruit and just chew it really well, or that you take some like You know, you can take some spinach that's cooked, any veggie that's like cooked really well, you could do that. Just make sure you chew really, really well, and that's going to be easy for your digestion. If you wanted to, you could make a smoothie, and as long as you know, blended it up really, really well, then it should be fine for your digestive system. So do that if you're feeling sick. I don't like seeing these YouTubers who are undergoing a 20-day fast, and they're like, well, I threw up this morning, but I keep going. It's like, no. What are you doing? Stop that. That is not good. Don't do that. Just be careful. Like, if you get up and feel a little bit lightheaded, that's normal. Just make sure you get up slowly. We're on day 3. As day 3, day 4, day 5 approach, you know, just get up slowly. Don't do anything rigorous, and take care of yourself. Really try to rest as much as possible. I realize I'm saying that as I'm sitting in the office. It's a little bit hypocritical, but this is the only strenuous thing that I've done all day, is just go to the office. Otherwise, I'm not doing anything that's stressful. Alright, I know this is a longer video, and I do appreciate you watching it, and please know that for anyone who is concerned about my health, I'm not trying to slam you. I'm not interested in slamming anybody. I don't care about doing that. I want a positive, you know, channel. I want people to have a positive experience, but I also I think that boundaries are healthy, and I need to express that I'm really done defending myself. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm just saying that this is my boundary, and I hope that if you respect me and have respected me as I've been posting these videos for a while now, that you will respect my boundary and not constantly ask me to defend myself. I really do appreciate it so much. For anybody else who's going through the same thing, maybe you experience the same thing from your friends and family, please feel free to drop me a line below. Let me know how it's been. This is a community. We're here for each other. We're here to support each other. I know I say that all the time, but I really want you to know how serious I am about this. I'm not interested in getting a whole huge following. Otherwise, I would do it, because it's not difficult to see what all the other people are doing. I'm interested in people who really want to communicate with one another and support one another and ask questions that, you know, are legitimate questions that they really have. So, alright, I hope that you all are having a great day. Let me know how you're doing. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Give this video a thumbs up, please. Even if I might have ruffled your feathers a little bit. I didn't mean to. I meant to really address your concern. And, did I forget anything? I don't think I did. Alright, until tomorrow, have a great rest of the day. I'll see you later. Bye.